RUNHAPPY Santa Anita Derby Day, and so much more. Saturday at Santa Anita Park, the Pick Six mandatory payout always gets the juices flowing. Excited to be here. I'm Dan Tordjman with America's Best Racing, joined by Jeff Chapman. Chappie here at Santa Anita. And as you can see, Ellis foregoing some Keeneland action, right? This is your Keeneland handicapping time, Ellis. But you know that this is the place to be right now. Santa Anita Park. We're absolutely pumped. And we're going to go through this Pick Six sequence because there's a lot of money at stake. How much money?
There's a lot of money at stake. We're expecting the pool to be somewhere around $3 million. And I think we'll talk to Ellis, and we're going to get through it in a minute. But we always say this, but it looks like it's not an easy spot anywhere to single. And I think this has the look of a Pick Six that should pay very well. So hopefully we can put our heads together and knock this thing down.
We've tried. We've got a ticket we're going to show you momentarily. As you can see at the bottom of the screen there, it starts in race 7 here at Santa Anita Park, the Pick Six, mandatory payout, a lot of money at stake. Ellis, glad to have you in. I know you've got some strong opinions. And in this first race, you've decided to go with a horse who's not the favorite. So kick us off in race 7.
Well, you know my motto, friends don't let friends bet chalk. So I'm starting with it. And I figure we might as well get it going, knock a bunch of people out if we're right, which hopefully will be the case here with the 4 Clovis Connection opens at 6-1. You know, the reason for the 6-1 line is probably because the horse is coming from Golden Gate. I understand that. But there's a lot to like about the horse. First, the pace of the race. Kangaroo Court has been on the lead within a head of the lead after a half mile in all 3 races. Big Buzz, who's right outside, has been on the lead in both races. Left-hand man was ahead off the lead after a half mile. There just looks to be a lot of speed out. And Clovis Connection showed tremendous ability to rate, come from off the pace in his most recent race, March 17th at Golden Gate. He was third, relaxed early, 2 lengths back, blasted off to win by 3. Better than that, he'd been off 4 months, almost 4.5 actually, from December. And that was his comeback. So you could expect second off the layoff improvement. Better still, Clovis Connection is a Calbred who's not run against Calbreds yet in 4 starts. He's 3 for 3 going short, all sprints, all against open company, and he's a stakes winner. He won the Golden Nugget Stakes last November at Golden Gate by 4 lengths. He put in a bullet workout best of 46 at Golden Gate, which is saying something, not just the bullet, the best of, and trainer Blaine Wright wins 20% of his stakes races and has a really good, there's a raceline stat I looked up, all weather to dirt. Blaine Wright, 17 for 62, 27% the last 3 years with a positive ROI. You ready for this? 122%. Now, I could also make the case for Kangaroo Court and Buzz, but I think, at least for our ticket, I want to start with this. We get knocked out, and then we can play the pick 5, of course, the pick 4. But take a shot, knock a bunch of people out off the 2 favorites, and maybe get a nice score here.
I like that approach. And Chappie, you had some additional information I think would be helpful to our viewers because you've been all over this. Like you've been. This is not the first time you've dug into this sequence.
Yeah, I've been doing it quite a bit the last few days, and I think that Kangaroo Court is ultra talented. And the fact that Kangaroo Court is drawn inside of Buzz is one thing because that's going to add to the pace I think he's going to have to go. But the one thing about Clovis Connection, Ellis, is I was talking to Matt Dinnerman, who was on a show with us, who obviously is the track announcer at Golden Gate. And he said, A, this horse won very easily the last time and is ultra talented. And B, he has a clocker up there that actually watched that last work. And it was one of the top 2 works he has seen in the last 3 years of any horse at Golden Gate. So I'm with you, buddy. I was going to fight you on this single until I heard Matt. Now I'm loving the single here to start it out.
And I did think that this would be one of the shortest priced horses in the sequence. So I think the fact that we're going to try to get by Kangaroo Court is a good thing. And I think that sets us up well to spread a little bit more in some of the upcoming races. Speaking of, we can move on to the 8th race, which is another really, really good betting race. Mile and an eighth, turf allowance, non-winners of 1. Phil D'Amato's got 3 horses in here. Lukewarm favorite is Reckless Spirit. Frankie Dettori gets the mount back on that one. Where did you land on this one? Were you able to narrow this one down, or you want to spread a little bit here?
I thought this was a difficult race. I think we narrowed down to 3 horses here. My top choice is the 8 Coalinga Road. If you just draw a line through those dirt races and just look at the turf races, this horse is tactical, always runs well on the turf. Heck, back in September, this horse was actually favored and ran a nice 4th with some trouble against Prince Obama, who just won a stakes race here at Santa Anita for Phil D'Amato not long ago. So if you go to some of the back class here, I think Coalinga Road's set up to run a big race. And then we always go to Works. I know this is a dirt work with a turf horse, but this horse worked on March 27th with Dicey Mochara, who's in one of the favorites later on, and outworked Dicey Mochara. So I think all systems go for Coalinga Road. And next we go to the 3 Silver Surfer for Phil D'Amato, as you spoke of. This horse came off a very, very long layoff, about a year and a half, showed some speed, naturally got tired. I think is ready to roll second off the bench. I don't think this horse needs the lead. Can go to the lead, can sit just off. Hector Barrios is doing a terrific job on the turf, so that's the second one we're going to use. And then the third horse we are going to touch on is the 6 Seven Wonders for Pete Urton. Pete Urton's gotten very hot lately. This horse added blinkers 2 back. Does not need the lead. Last time out, Frankie Dettori, who has surprised me since he's been here, got very aggressive and went to the lead. So I think this horse can go if they don't and can sit back. But I think this horse is improving and ran a very nice race, setting a very fast fractions the last time. So 8-3-6 in the second leg.
And you mentioned Frankie. Frankie went to Hollywood, came to Hollywood, conquered, and has been at Keeneland and now in Lexington on Friday. Frankie also riding really, really well. Ellis, anything we left out here? Anything that if we miss this leg, you're going to be like, I told you guys, you should have put this horse in?
Well, I think if you wanted to go one deeper, again, a horse I'd be looking at would be the 5 Reckless Spirit. Frankie jumps off 7 Wonders to ride like a spirit. And by the way, Frankie won 1 of 2 races on Friday, and the first one he won, the Flying Dismount, wowed the fans at Keeneland. Most of them had never seen it before. So it was a turf race, of course. But Reckless Spirit had been off November to February, came back at the condition, rallied, beaten a half length by time to party. It was a good race. It was the first race since D'Amato took the horse over after shipping out from New York from the James Bond barn, and that would be one more horse I might want to go deeper on.
All right. Well, look, let's move on to the 9th here. We're a little more spread in this race. Why? Because it's my race. So, of course, I need a little help. Here's the deal with this race. I looked at this race, and it's literally almost a repeat of a race that we saw on Big Cap Day, San Felipe Stakes Day. It was a $25,000 starter stakes that day. And on that day, I thought, Manitowish is obviously going to go to the lead, and we've got an easy single here. And we ended up spreading a little bit more. What happened was Joe Don Looney went to the lead. And for me, that totally blew up the way I saw the race shape. And so I sort of started to look at this race again through the lens of the way I initially perceived that race. And I thought there is no way in hell that Manitowish is once again going to let Joe Don Looney go to the lead. So we absolutely need the pace meltdown that I anticipated was going to happen on Big Cap Day. And I think we're going to finally see that here. I mean, there's no way. Again, you have the same riders, Hector Barrios on Manitowish and Joe Don Looney, obviously won and now draws the rail. I really hope this horse, this race plays more to form in terms of how I would expect these horses to run. Manitowish's horses usually on or near the front, and has a win from slightly off the pace, but still, I think that the pace will be hot. That being said, I rewatched that race a couple of times just because, I'm like completely sadistic. And Next Revolt is a horse that jumped out to me, had a really rough trip, got squeezed back early, took up, had to do a lot of extra work. And so Next Revolt for me is a horse that I marked down as a playback horse. And at this distance in particular, although it's only half a furlong shorter, going 6.5, I thought that Next Revolt was the right horse because he's run some of his best races at this exact distance. And again, anticipating a faster pace up front and a battle Next Revolt drawn the 2-hole. I think we'll be able to save ground, get first run on Joe Don Looney and Manitowish. Another horse I just wanted to mention is number 5, Joker Boy. This is a horse who, I had to watch a couple of replays here. He doesn't break well at all. He's always having trouble coming out of the gate, stumbling. Then he's got to be sent, and he's really, really hard pressed. In the only race he's broken cleanly of late, he won. And that race was against lesser company, but he's also been in against much tougher. And so I think this horse fits at this level. I could have been happy just with going 2-5. That would be Next Revolt and Joker Boy. But there are a couple of others who merit another look. Manitowish, again, I thought would run off with it last race. I think I think Manitowish is faster than Joe Don Looney. I think potentially could get to the front and run away with this race. And then there are 2 others here, Teton Valley at 8-1, the 4-horse, and then Lovesick Blues. Lovesick Blues on pace figures alone, on speed figures alone, is a factor here, and he's also been in against tougher. Who wants to make the case for number 4, Teton Valley? Because that wasn't my horse, but I know we added the horse to the ticket. Was that you or was that Ellis?
It was me. I watched this race the last time. I was confused by the pace scenario myself. And off of a long layoff, this horse last time, Maldonado, who we know is very good out of the gate, absolutely quarter horse this horse. I mean, looked like he was running at nighttime at Los Al. And I think the horse needed the race. I think they are going to send and try to get the lead. Now, this might muddle up the picture even more for the horses you like, so you might like that. I thought maybe this horse might actually get the lead, and Maldonado's very dangerous on the front end.
Okay. Ellis, any final thoughts on this one?
No, I think Jeff's right. I think Teton Valley and Joe Don Looney are going to go at it. The apprentice knows he has to go. Aguilar on the rail. And Manitowish might get the trip. I think he's going to win for the other reason you think he is. I don't think he's going to win because he's going to have the lead he would have had last time. I think he can win because he could sit 3rd or 4th. And Joker Boy is really interesting, though, I want to say, because he was claimed in January 15th. He was claimed again on February 17th. He ran, as you said, 3rd in that race on March 12th. And now he goes and protected into a starter allowance race. This is a very sharp trainer play for O'Neill. So this is the horse that I think I'd be most intrigued about, provided he can close into the pace. 7, definitely Lovesick Blues is going to be a good closer who's going to like that 44 and change pace is going to likely in this race.
Yeah, if you want a brave single, I really do think that number 5, Joker Boy, is probably that horse. But like you said in the email that you sent us, this is Spreadsville, right?
Spreadsville was my word. Yeah, I think this is a tough race.
All right. Well, maybe a little bit of an easier race. No, it ain't easy. Nothing's easy out here. Ellis, the Monrovia is all yours. Grade 3, race 10, 4th leg in this pick 6 sequence.
I forgot to run my Stats Raceland stat, but last time I looked, Frankie Dettori down the hill since coming to California was something like 7 for 20. He just killed it. I love Freedom Flyer when he won. It was 2nd off a layoff. Now it's 3rd off a layoff. Yeah, that was a restricted stakes, but he won from the 6-hole in a 6-horse field. She has the 11-hole in an 11-horse field. She won wire to wire. She's come from as far as 3rd. I mean, this is a horse that's won $275,000 and is really just got everything her way here. There's going to be a lot of pace in this race. The 1 Elm Drive, even though her last 2 races back in August and September were pretty bad, she's going to be fresh. She put in a 58 and 4/5 workout in a 47 and 4. She's going to go from the rail for Vasquez. The 10 Legs Galore is absolutely need a lead type. Great record of 9 for 18, but she got beat 2 in a row before the layoff. She's going to be fresh and full of herself. The 3 Canoodling, the last win came wire to wire at a mile, and she did win on the cutback from a little bit off back in when she cut back in September of 21. But I like Freedom Flyer a lot to just get even better. She likes the downhill. She's 2 for 4 at it. Amy C, another one that's going to love the pace, off just a few months. She won the Grade 3 La Cienega because that's identical to this race. There's no doubt. Rispoli rides her really well. He's been up for all 3 6.5 furlong downhill wins the 3 times that Umberto has ridden Amy C. And then the 3 Canoodling, as we said, that cut back in 21, even though it was on dirt, it was Albuquerque. But she won a stake and then a classified allowance, or second in a stake and won a classified allowance. That cutback is great, but she's also come back from a layoff. She's been working fast. I don't think she needs to lead. Juan Hernandez is going to a great spot. So 11-8-3. The only other horse that I consider if someone wants to go deeper is Big Summer, the 9, because Big Summer lost to Freedom Flyer by a head and was 9-5 favorite that day. So you could go one more, but I'm happy with this 3-8-11 on our ticket here.
And that 9 was the last cut on the ticket. So if you believe in our misfortune, that's the horse to kind of go in on heavily. Anything from your perspective that you want to add to that?
I think Amy C is going to prove to be the queen of the downhill, and she's going to win this race. And she just absolutely adores the downhill, and I love Amy C in this spot. But you know, I like what you guys are saying. So that could be my single if I do a little ticket on the side. But we have good cases for the other horses we're using.
We've said that the RUNHAPPY Santa Anita Derby is the last stop, one of the last stops on Saturday to the Kentucky Derby. If you want points, you gotta do well in the RUNHAPPY Santa Anita Derby. Santa Anita Oaks, one of the last stops now for the Kentucky Oaks. And this is a pressure race here. There is a heavy favorite, Bob Affort's Feza. Is that where you landed, or are you going elsewhere?
Okay, so this is one of those horses that I don't know if Ellis agrees here, but Feza, I'm going to probably put Feza right in the winner's circle because all Feza does is win races. She's not flashy. She's kind of a grinder, but she just keeps winning. And that being said, I'm going to try to beat her, of course. I mean, we're going to use her on the ticket. How could you not? Yeah. But I think that, and Tell Me No Lies, first of all, is a grade 1 winner. Mm-hmm. Ran against Feza last time out, needed that race off of the layoff. I think we'll move forward here and is drawn outside of Feza, and I like And Tell Me No Lies. Another horse that's very interesting is the 3-horse Clearly Unhinged for Michael McCarthy. A couple things about this horse. First of all, Michael McCarthy is very conservative. He doesn't win first time out too much. This horse jogged first time out. His horse is, he doesn't normally jump a horse into a grade 2 off of one race, which is what he did here. And also this horse, showed a lot of speed, but yeah, it drew the rail. Has natural speed, but I don't think this horse is just a need to lead type of horse. So I think there's a ton of upside. Will this horse have to jump up and run the race of her life to beat an undefeated Feza? Sure, but I think she's worth using, and I think Feza is going to get bet and probably go off at odds on. So 3 deep here. Ellis, am I crazy? Is Feza going to jog here and we're going to be wasting 2 horses in the sequence?
Look, if I hadn't convinced you guys to single Clovis Conviction in the first race, I would have tried to convince you to single Clearly Unhinged in this race and go against Feza. Feza's good, and you're right, she does win. But, man, her speed figures are just not as good as you'd want a 3-year-old coming into Oak season. She's just okay. We're Clearly Unhinged. Yeah, she's stretching out, but I'm telling you, that was a grade 3 or 2 stakes figure winning a maiden race at 6.5. And McCarthy, as you said, conservative. This filly has a 59 and a 5th workout on the 18th, a 59 and 3/5. She's got some physical ability. And as you said, that first debut was so impressive. She's by Intermission of a Smart Strike mare. So absolutely love a mile on a 16th. So you're not, you would be crazy to single face it, in my opinion. That's what you're asking me.
So look, I'm glad we've got a couple of horses here because I agree with you. I think Feza is vulnerable, and that most recent, that 59 and 3 best of 53 work, I mean, just jumps off the page. So and there's just obviously a ton of upside there. So look, we've got 3 horses, and if we're alive to the last leg, once again, I couldn't make up my mind, so we had to use a couple of horses in the last leg to close out. But I will say, I was for a moment here considering singling a horse. Again, this goes back to San Felipe Stakes Day, Big Cap Day. A horse that I was ready to single that day was Anaglasa, who scratched out of that race, was re-entered in the Santa Ana, and did not run as well there. To be frank, totally spit the bed, right? Went way too, well, not even that fast, but it was just totally outclassed, and they were going 1.25 miles. This race here at a mile with the class relief and no other speed as far as I can tell, just really like hardcore pressing speed, I think Anaglasa wins this race. I mean, 7-2 morning line. I love speed generally. I mean, it's just logic. I've kind of given up trying to like chase down these like deep closers and hoping that there's a big pace that unfolds. Anaglasa is the main speed. It's going to be at the front, and these horses are going to have to work to try to catch her. I'm really into Anaglasa here, so that's my top pick. We did add a few other horses, as you can see there on the bottom of your screen. One of them I'll talk about. One of them I'll toss to Ellis for. The one I'll talk about is Shocking Gray. Watched the replay of that last race and was just super impressed. A horse. She really like hugged the rail. She saved ground, so forth and so on. But and it was also against, estate bred level horses. But she really closed ground in a race where no one else was making a move late. So I was super impressed by the way Shocking Gray did it. That was in January, comes in fresh for Jeff Mullins, who wins at an outrageous rate. Ellis, I know you love the stats. I was just pulling up some Jeff Mullins numbers here. 36% with Juan Hernandez up in turf races. Silly. And in the last 10 turf races, as of the time that I handicapped this, which was before Friday's card, had won 5 of his last 10 turf races, and it hit the board with 7 of his last 10 turf starters. So Jeff Mullins, the guy you want in turf races right now, is the horse in Shocking Gray, 6-1 in the morning line, who's obviously going to take some money as well. Ellis, you really, really fought for the horse on the rail to make the ticket as well. What do you see